I think that it's actually better to have abortions available to people. And I'll clarify now
Wait,
to
wait,
both
wait,
of
what?
you.
How does that work?
Hold on, I'll clarify to both of you before I continue. I personally do not agree with abortions, right? Shocker. I personally don't want them, right? I think there's circumstances
But
in which they're
that's
needed.
all fine. I don't need clarification. I'm talking about, so what is the relevance of like economical benefits, I guess, or like because
Okay.
that just sounds like ambiguous if we're talking about relativism.
Yeah, what does relativism, moral relativism, have to do with economics?
Well, what are the benefits that you're talking about if we're not talking about moral benefits?
Well, just about everything else. Moral benefits don't matter to me. So economically speaking, I think we should have less people, right? Because I believe in full scale automation.
But
I think
what is
that
the should there like operator doing? Is
what?
that like is that a normative fact that you're
What are you
trying to
talking
justify?
about?
Or when you said we should there, the should,
Yeah,
is that normative?
I think it's an ideal thing.
Is that normative?
I don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
Normative,
Yeah,
normative.
yeah. What do you mean a normative fact?
A normative fact is going to be any fact or any moral proposition within a normative ethical framework.
Also,
Yeah,
Marjorie,
I joined
you
the
can
call
chime
that
in. I know
wasn't
you agree
gay.
with me here. So, Brian, what?
I said I joined the call that isn't gay.
Because this
Okay,
is
hold
why
on.
it sounds like ambiguous. If take this for example, right? Let's say I'm like a trivialist about logic, right? And then I'm trying to argue for like a true system of metalogical, or like I'm arguing metalogic or whatever. Like obviously that
Okay,
conversation is just irrelevant, right? I would have no reason
right.
to argue that. But same way here, right? You're trying to say that there's going to be benefits derived from like some economical source, and they're going to be normative benefits
Yeah.
or normative facts
I don't know.
based on some economical benefits. But that just sounds like redundant, right? You could just assert your view as a relativist. Justification is typically not a property within like relativism.
Hold on one second. I'm getting a text. I'll respond to you in just a second.
Okay, well, I'm writing this, so take your time.
Jacob, I know you want me to chime in, but I don't even know the context.
No, hold on.
I don't either, to
Jamie
be
just
honest,
messaged
but-
me.
Jimmy.
Why the fuck did she just text me? Hold on.
Hey, mind run.
Hmm.
You should start narrating the NWO fan fictions.
Okay, bruh. Hold on. Let's stay on topic. All right, I'm done with the Jamie thing. Yeah. So from what I picked up, also Mindrin, just to chime you in for the conversation, I was talking about how I think it would be very fruitful, right, in America if we allowed abortions because we would have less lower income families, and because of those less lower income families, I think it would benefit America as a whole because of the I believe in full scale automation. I think less people, the easier it would be to automate jobs and bring about lower
can I make
income
a
jobs
comment?
becoming
Well,
automated.
this is, I feel like, just complicating the issue. I think the issue is just fundamental. I don't understand why we're even trying to justify anything as a relativist.
I think the justification of it, at least in my eyes, would be the stem cell research,
you
kind of
don't-
like investing in stem cell research for de-aging and among other scientific advancements. And I think
Yeah,
that
that
it's
too.
redundant to not have stem cells within the grasp of American science.
Wait, are you saying you can't have a justification for a claim off your personal experience as a relativist? What?
That would just make, what would that even mean? To justify
Um,
something as a relativist.
Yeah, based on self-interest. It's entirely based off of self-interest
But that
and
that's
having
not
higher
that's
quality
going
of
to be
life.
that's not relativism. So that's now we're pushing to egoism. You know the difference between relative and egoism?
I've been described as that, I guess. I suppose.
Okay, but you
That's what it
understand
is.
still that is still not going to have any property of like justification.
Egoism is a form of relativism, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
either way,
I
I
describe
don't
myself
see
as an
how.
egoist then.
Okay, but then, I mean, you understand, there's not going to be any symmetry breaker between your moral assertions or your normative assertions and mine.
Wait. You said the last part? I didn't hear you.
There's not going to be any symmetry breaker between your normative assertions and mine, right? If you're an egoist.
Okay.
And so there's no point on any discourse about normative facts regarding like economical benefits for abortion, right? Any social science at all, any political science is just going to be irrelevant if you're trying to plug in any normative fact. Because I already told you, it's not going to be any justification. So there's no symmetry breaker between you postulating something and me, right? Just postulating like the inverse of anything you said.
Yeah, what's your philosophy here? Why are you saying that?
Why am I saying that?
Yeah, like what is your epistemology? Why are
Because
you
I'm
saying this is why are you saying I can't bring analytical data to the table in a political discussion about abortion?
What is my epistemology? I don't even know what that would mean.
Okay, then I'm not sure how to approach this.
Epistemology
and
about
have a
what?
discussion about it.
Are you talking about what my view, like my coherence is foundationless infinitive? Or asking what's my epistemic justification for a proposition I'm just not clear on? Like, what am I justifying?
No, your
Okay.
action. Yep.
You want me to get on this? Okay, I will get on
Yeah.
this just for a second. I think he's asking for your epistemology because your epistemology
For what?
is where you ascertain the definition of what a truth claim even is, right? And then he can build off
Are you
of
running
that to then
tag?
justify. What's up?
Or is this like presuppositionalism now? I don't understand.
No,
Are we going to
I'll get around
truth
to it.
claims?
The point, like, if you could please stop interrupting me. The point that it would eventually become is whether it becomes relevant to moral epistemology. And if moral epistemology varies depending on the specific individual,
No, but
he's trying to
behind that.
ascertain yours.
You're behind the conversation, man. You already granted that there's not going to be any justification, so I don't even know what it would mean for there to be
Wait, when
like.
did I grant that?
Are you not trying to defend him? You're speaking of him, right?
Well, right now I'm just telling you that I have my own questions for you. I'm not saying that I
Okay.
completely agree
Well,
with the
you
things that
understand
you
the
said.
dispute. You understand the dispute.
Well, I understand your dispute with what he's saying, but I want to understand
so then I
what
don't
perspective
understand.
you're coming from. Why do you always have to be on the offense?
I could be offensive. You're saying that as if I'm like attacking someone. All I'm saying is that some specific inference in a discourse is redundant, right? Because to say that you're justifying something when there is no symmetry break between you not justifying something and you justifying something, obviously that's just going to be redundant, right? So as a relativist, the whole point is that it's some form of like accepted absurdism, or you're doubling down on the fact that any proposition can be acceptable.
Well, it can be within specific contexts, yeah.
No, it's anti-contextualists that support this. So the context is not going to grant justification as a relativist.
What do you even mean? Like, what are we
What
defining
can you give
justification
a single
as?
justification? Well, there's a lot of different theories of justification. I'm taking it as just colloquially as you understand it. I don't think
Okay,
theorizing the word justified is relevant.
well, you're using this as if it's a mathematical posit, so why don't you define your definition for justification? I want to
What have I
understand
said is
what you're saying.
mathematical?
Well, you're trying to say that as a relativist, you can't justify any normative claim. So I want to know why you believe
What
that.
about that is mathematical?
Because you're acting as if justification can only mean one thing.
What? No, I just said the opposite.
Okay,
And the
what is
fact I said it, I
justification?
think I just said
wanna
I'm using it typically how you'd understand it colloquially. So you don't need to theorize unless you think it's
Well-
relevant, and that's why.
Well, I want you to actually say the words rather than being so like stubborn about this. Like, what is justification?
To take it like if your parents said, "Can you justify your homework or something?" and then you'd understand that that's the same way I'm using it right now.
Justify my homework? No, just say the actual
Yeah,
definition.
so like, or your math teacher saying, "Can you justify this proof?" Right,
What is the
something like that.
definition?
Or your English teacher saying, "Can you justify
You're
this?"
giving
You're allowed-
examples rather than just explaining the
You are-
mechanics.
Wait,
You are
examples is
permitted to look it up.
it's a type of definition, right?
It's just about
You can give a
response.
sense of cases to give meaning to a term, and I think
Just
we're
explain
trying
the
to do here is-
mechanics, dude. It's not that hard. I could do it.
I mean, justify, again, I'm using it colloquially. If you just don't know what it means colloquially, which I think is very absurd, sure. Yeah, you're just giving reasons to a given proposition. Right, that's all.
Well,
it's
I know
being
what
said
I would define
colloquially.
it as, but it's important
So
whenever we're
what-
having
what
a
was
discussion
the-
like this to
what
define
was
our
the-
terms.
What was the relevance there? I've asked
The relevance.
It's not relevant.
The relevance is because. Oh my God, you people, man. I was just saying that if you don't completely define your terms before you get into a discussion like this, there may be varying levels of confusion.
No,
Right,
it's
so-
not if it's colloquial, right?
There is a lot of confusion with these colloquial discussions.
Can you demonstrate how?
Okay. Say if there's a
Some
bunch of
people are
people
using a
talking about the
colloquial term, right?
existence of. Let me explain. Let's just say there's a lot of people trying to identify the existence of God, right? Then they're all going to have their own specific definition of God. One guy's definition
But
of
then
God
that's
could be
that's
Yahweh.
not colloquial. That's idiosyncratic. So you just don't know what it
Well,
means to be colloquial.
no,
Colloquial
colloquial in
just
this
means
case,
that it's something that's commonly understood by a lot of people.
commonly understood within a specific culture. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that specific culture may be interacting with cultures in the discussion. Therefore, it may not be automatically colloquial.
Well, sure. I mean, well, then you just have to demonstrate the relevance. And then, so if we're talking about where there's two opposing cultures, or when maybe some like person in the tribe is thinking of God and they're thinking about like some hedonism, and then the Christian's thinking about God and they're thinking about Abrahamic revelatory theism, they're going to differ about what they mean by God. Well, obviously, right, as I already mentioned, it's going to be post the consideration where we need to demonstrate the relevance, right? Obviously, you haven't demonstrated why in this discussion we've had to talk about theorizing the word justification, which is why I said we're going to use it colloquially.
Okay, so what exactly are you arguing against here? Let's just
so I
let's
was
just
arguing
iron it
with
out piece by piece.
the fourth dimensional ketamine guy. We were talking about how relativism, to say that you're going to be justifying moral facts, is redundant. And it's actually unintelligible what that even mean.
Well, okay, yeah, you can't justify moral facts because I don't
Okay, so
believe
then
moral
you
facts
agree
actually
with me.
exist.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
either.
okay, so
Like
you
what?
presupposing error theory or something like that is not actually what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about, let's say you think moral facts are true, right? And then you hold to some weird form of relativism, right? You wouldn't be able to justify those views because you're committed to certain absurdist principles. Like maybe you can't discover which moral proposition is true and which one is false. Right? There's no system there to justify that. Yet they may still exist. So I'm actually more interested in whether you can justify any relativistic proposition. If you agree with me, then you were just disagreeing with him the whole time. So I don't know why you're
Yeah,
investigating my view.
it seems I was, but I still like to understand who the fuck I'm talking to.
Talking to Trick Monster.
Okay, well, I understand, but I actually think I do agree with you on this. It is actually completely incoherent to ever make a moral claim while being a moral relativist, because
Never
moral
made a moral
relativism.
claim.
I know. I'm not saying you did. Maybe they think you did. I'm
Yeah,
confused.
they
I'm
clearly
genuinely
did.
flabbergasted.
The
I mean,
third
you
time.
don't need to lie. You were talking about justification, where you said, "Yeah, I don't think there's moral claims, but you can still justify based on like economical benefits."
I think you're the one that brought up justified. You tried to put it in there.
You can lie now about that. I don't care.
No. At the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, I could have. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I remember you bringing up justification. I don't use that word that much at all. I
So
use it
what were you
occasionally
talking
in
about when you
discussions in
said
Roblox.
based on economical benefits, we're going to employ some
Oh.
normative facts?
So you're the one that put justified in my mouth. Okay, I was just
No,
making
so
sure that
that's-
you actually did
So
that.
that
Yeah.
I
So
never
I'm not
granted that.
retarded.
I never granted that. Where did I
I
grant
am
it?
because I'm just not stupid
You're
enough to say that.
you're granting your own claim? What does that even mean?
No, your own claim, and I'm disproving it.
Wait, so you're granting my claim?
Justified.
You just said, okay, so you concede. You just said you're granting my claim. Yeah, you didn't think that through, did you?
I just
Yeah,
I
that's
don't care.
awful.
I don't care. Dude.
He doesn't care. Okay,
Whatever.
that's a 2v1. You guys
Semantics.
are shit. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Well,
Retard.
did you ban him?
Well, that's it for today, guys.